All right, so I wanted to do a follow-up on my last sort of anecdote of advice to you girls. And this one is the opposite of Pollyanna. Recently, in talking to one of my children, I was reminded of an episode of my life where I really learned a very important lesson, but I learned it the hard way by making a mistake. And you know what? That's a really important thing to keep in mind as you go through your life. One of the things your parents are going to help you to do is to deal with the mistakes you make and hopefully give you enough room that you can make your own mistakes, but not so much room that the mistakes really harm your potential for growth and happiness in life. So when I was about 15, I went to a very, very progressive school, and I was allowed to basically do whatever I wanted. I only had to go to mandatory classes occasionally. The rest of the time I was allowed to really go anywhere I wanted. I could go off campus, I could go to the library. And that was also the year that I sort of discovered boys and peer pressure and friends. So I started doing some sort of high-risk behavior, and I certainly wasn't spending a lot of time doing school. The end of the school year came, and my parents were shocked to find out that I'd only finished half of my classes. And 3 of my classes, I'd only finished half of the work. All the work was self-paced, and I was supposed to be using my time to work my way through courses. While I hadn't finished half of Algebra 2, half of biology, and half of an English composition class. So my parents told me that was it. They had trusted me, the school system had trusted me, and I had betrayed their trust. I had not followed through, I had not made good choices, I had not behaved responsibly, and that was it. I was grounded. I was not going to be able to leave my house. I wasn't able to use the phone, so I couldn't call my friends or my boyfriend. I could not go out until I finished those classes. And because my school was pretty progressive, they allowed me to enroll in summer school even though my classes weren't offered. And I had to spend the next, I don't know if it was 6 or 8 weeks, teaching myself biology, English composition, and Algebra 2. And basically, I mostly remember the math because I was so far behind in that. I would have to come in the morning, read a chapter of Algebra 2, go through the problems, teach myself the theorems and the principles, take a pre-test, go home and study, and then first thing the next morning, take the post-test and start all over. Read a new chapter, study the information, take a pre-test, go home and take a post-test. And I had to do pretty much the same thing in biology. And then English composition, I had a whole slew of essays to write. So I was 15 years old. I'd learned basically the grasshopper and the ant lesson. And I can tell you that it really shaped who I am today. I really learned that it's so much better to do what you have to do when you need to do it, because paying the price in the long run is absolutely much more difficult. I had a miserable 15th summer when I should have been having a great time, but instead I learned a life lesson, and I can tell you as a result, I am a very proactive planner and worker, and it's a lesson I learned at 15 by making a mistake.